Welcome everyone. Great to meet some of you for the first time. Casper and Jeppe, I've been talking to them off and on for seems like half a decade, and it's just so great to meet them in person. Cordula, I've never met in person, and Stephen never met in person, so it's great to be able to be here with you guys. I want to give you an expectation. This is going to be a very active 2 days. You're probably going to get tired because when we put that much mental energy, you'll see what I mean throughout the days. And I don't want you to take anything personal, because a lot of people, they get married to their business ideas, get married to what they're doing, but you're here so we can help you. So I want to put that out in the beginning. Don't take anything personal because we're going to be very honest, and we're going to tell you what you're doing is either working or not working, and we'll tell you why. And I just want you to really come in open. You're going to have to not come from your program to get the most out of this. I remember years ago, I've shared this story so many times, but it's a very great story for you guys right now. I remember my mentor and I, Bob Proctor, were working on an idea. And I thought I had this brilliant idea. And I tell him it a couple days later, and he said, that's not a good idea. He said, you're coming from your old program. He goes, I want you to come from my program. So all of you right now are going to automatically default to your program. You're going to automatically default to what's comfortable. What I want you to do is let it go. Think about your goal right now. That's the program that we want you to come from in this room. Forget about the how. The how doesn't matter. What we want to do is teach you urgency. I'm forever talking about decision making. Nothing happens without a decision. But most people think decision making is what I invest in, where I'm going to do. That has nothing to do with this. Every day we're making thousands of decisions. Think about when you're holding on to resistance. That's a decision. Think about when you're playing small, you're accepting lesser goals. That's a decision. When you're not honoring your word, that's a decision. And I can tell everybody in this room, the only thing that's holding you back are the decisions you're making from your program. You're never going to, nor me, it's the same thing for me. If I want to create a massive jump, a 10x jump, I can't come from my current program. So I want to open you up. Like, I can look at all of you and I can feel who's resistant right now. Just walking in this room. You can feel who's coming and their heart is closed. You're not gonna create a massive jump with a closed heart. Like, we want to really open you up, and you're gonna have to want to open up. So that's what we want to really do. But, I was telling Mikey, the only reason we did this event was because we found a gap with some of our elite clients that they're working too hard. They know a lot about this, but they're not executing. And when you learn urgency, like, watch this room these next 2 days, you're gonna see urgency in action. And then I want you to look at yourselves and anchor it, because when you go out in the world, when you go back out in your business, I want you to have the same amount of urgency for the next 6 months. And that's where things are really going to change. So let me start with this. Success is never a straight line. It's never linear. It's a combination of a lot of ups and downs. It's a combination of a lot of setbacks and a lot of wins. Now, some of you have had great wins. Like Robert, you had a phenomenal last 45 days. You know why? Because you did it. You went out of your comfort zone and did it. And that's what's going to continue happening. Now, you're going to face adversity. I'd be lying to you to tell you none of you are going to face any adversity. If you're going after something big, you're going to have adversity come in. But you want to make a part of your philosophy that adversity is temporary. A lot of people, as soon as they get adversity, they shrink. They let their client base dictate their program. They accept lesser prices. They're worried about what everybody else is thinking. And so you want to remember this. World-class performers are never done growing. They are consistently reinventing themselves. They're constantly working on their next quantum leap. They're constantly working on, I have this insecurity, I get to work on it. Now the masses, I have this insecurity, I don't want to look at it. Very different. I have this resistance, I'm gonna rationalize my way into why this resistance is right. Resistance is never right. Resistance is what's holding anybody back. When you're resistant, you're in bondage. And I was there. Like when I was resistant, I'm always playing the smallest level of who I am. And so we want to look at it. Every one of you has some resistance. Do you know what it is? Like, Jeff, if I said your greatest resistance, would you know what it is? Well, a lot of us don't think about that. But we want to start identifying it because the resistance tells us what we're attached to. And whatever we're attached to is owning us. Like Cordula and I worked through some of her resistance the last few months. Now she's a different woman. But she had to be willing to work on that resistance. And so we want to start identifying it. At every level, there's another level of resistance that we have to overcome. At every single level. So we want to constantly do great work in private. I want you to understand the world class do their greatest work in private. They're so prepared. They are constantly working on their inside because they know if they take care of their inside, the outside is going to take over by default. See, I want all of you to look at your dominant results right now. I want you to put that in your mind. Like Rick, if I said your dominant results, right away you got to it, right? That's coming from you. It's not happening by accident. So what we want to do, if you want something 10 times better, 25 times better, that's the type of commitment we're going to have. And so your work is so important in your attitude towards your work. Like, what is my attitude towards my work? Do I expect it to be hard? Do I make it harder? I want you to think about this when we're going in it. Now, you guys are investing 2 days on your business. You're going to get so many ideas, but you're not just going to get ideas when Mikey and I are talking to you. I may be working with Susan, and Karen, you're going to get an idea. Or I may be working with Titus, and Elizabeth will get an idea. So don't think just because I'm working with Reem that you're not going to get the benefit from what I'm doing with Reem. And we want you to participate. Like I want you, hey, what do you think about this idea? If I was working with Titus and Robert has an idea, don't feel suppressed and you can't say it. We want it to be very active. That's why, like Mikey was saying, we're doing 2 days all the way through. You guys take breaks, you need a break, go take a break. But we're not going to take breaks because we have so much to cover with all of you, so you create a massive breakthrough. But you want to look at this. I want you to observe your behaviors. Am I always looking to grow? Not just am I saying I'm going to grow. I want you to watch your behaviors. Do my behaviors say I'm always growing? Or do my behaviors say I'm comfortable coming from what I'm used to doing? And your number one goal has to be beating your personal best every day. Now, I've said that millions of times now. But how many have accepted that idea emotionally? Like, I want you to think about it. Have I accepted that emotionally when I'm so obsessed when I wake up that my only goal for the day is beating my personal best? If that is your obsession, I promise you'll know right away. Or you'll say, like I was talking to Jay the other day, and he didn't like something I said, and I said, all right, we'll agree to disagree. Because I wasn't going to accept his idea. And so that's fine, because we ended up coming at the right place, but we've got to stand firm to that program. And we've got to ask ourselves, because your business is a reflection of your programs. Like, look at yourselves in the mirror. Your business is a reflection of you. So if you want to grow your business, you have to grow out of your resistance. Now, real transformation is going to require real honesty. The number one thing that I learned from the very beginning, 17 years ago, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to be brutally honest. And a great question to ask ourselves is, how honest am I with myself? Like if I said to Kieran, are you honest with yourself? He'd know right away. You know? And so we want to make a part of our philosophy honesty. Brutal honesty without putting ourselves down. It's not saying, I'm not good enough. It's saying, oh, interesting, this came up, I get to work on it. Very different. So when we're brutally honest, I don't want you beating yourself up. That honesty is going to bring to the surface what's holding you back. And so we want to take a good look at it. And all of you are winning, and I want you to look right now. Where am I winning? Every one of you is winning in some area of your life. That you even got in this room tells me you have a significant image of yourself of what's possible. Can we agree to that? Yeah. So all of you wouldn't be here if you didn't have that. So we want to acknowledge where we're winning. So now we're coming from a state of abundance. And then we want to look at, why am I winning in that area? Why am I winning? Like, John, you've created a massive quantum leap in our work together. In the last year and a half, massive quantum leap. Then we ask why. You know, and the answer is going to come to you right away. If I said, why are you winning over the last year and a half, what would come to your mind?
Put in the work.
Put in the work. You give no excuses, ever. You put in the work, and you're extremely disciplined to get out of your comfort zone. That's why he's winning. Then we say, this is a big question. What is wise for me to let go of this moment that I'm attached to? Is it the results? Is it, can I do it? Is it has to be my way? I promise you it's never going to be our way. Once you learn that, you're going to be well ahead. My mentor told me when I first got mentored by him, he says, do you want to be right or do you want to be successful? And then he said, do you want to be rich or do you want to be right? Then he says, do you want to be wealthy or do you want to be right? I said, I know where you're going with this. The ego is so strong. The ego is so strong. And when we are coming from the ego, we're coming from the weakest version, we can never get the truth. We can never get to the truth. And, you know, once you're up here, you're going to see that we're going to identify your programs that you don't even know of. You're going to see that for yourself. And this question is a great question every day of what is wise for me to let go of. And I would encourage you to make it a habit. Do you know what you're attached to right now, Karen?
The results.
The results, okay? So let's let that go. See, we got to look at results from a neutral place, but we've got to look at results and understand it's just a reflection of where we're putting our attention. It's a reflection of the type of actions we're taking. Now, two people could be taking the same actions. Kieran and I could be doing the exact same actions, but I can do it in a certain way, that he's not doing that certain way. It's a much different result. And so we want to really look at it, but understand why people are attached. They're protecting themselves from who they want to be. They're afraid of disappointment. And it is the most ridiculous thing, being attached. Because when we're attached, it owns us. But we're protecting ourselves from disappointment. But we're going to get disappointed anyway if we don't show our whole person. So we've got to really look at this and let go of protecting ourselves. We've got to get in the spirit all the time of what we're doing in our workday. Like, you want to get in the spirit of prospecting. You want to get in the spirit of when you're masterminding with other people. You want to get in the spirit of your study. You want to get in the spirit of your gaps. You know, because those are going to be your greatest gifts. So, Steve, do you think you're protecting yourself from something right now? Yeah. Do you know what it is? What is it?
Fear of failure.
Okay, fear of failure. Okay. Like, let's look at this belief. Now, what's the worst that's going to happen if you fail?
I'll still be who I am.
You'll still be. What if you just let go of failure? And I say this all the time. You have to be willing to fail at your future self instead of succeed at your present self. we've got to understand this, because if Kim is failing over and over again, she has a big win coming. And Kim knows that because we've worked on that. Kim, you failed a lot, and you're having your best year. But she had to shift. She had the same one as you. You know, her identity was work. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And once we shifted it, we're still a work in progress in that, because that's very normal for you to look at your identity as work, but it's very dangerous. We want to look at who we want to become. Like your goals, are they what you think you want, or are they what you really want? And that's what I want you to think of. Is my goal worthy of me? Is that what I really want to achieve? And this is the number one thing of holding people back from achieving their goals is resistance. The number one thing. Another one is, I already know this. All you have to do is look at your results. Your results will tell you how well you know. Stop rationalizing with the results. Understand the results are a direct reflection of your mindset, your beliefs, your actions, and your behaviors. That's all they are. So your results are a compass of your life. Your decisions are a reflection of your identity. So we have to understand the rules of greatness. Greatness comes from giving. And then let's ask the question, am I a conditional or unconditional giver? And number one, do you know what you want to achieve? Now, I've been in many rooms like this in my career. And I remember one day, I was in a room, Reem was in the room. And I was talking to my mentor, I said, I am blown away that 95% of these people don't know what they want. It was a very small room, very high-level people in the room. But 95% of them had no idea what they wanted. Do you know what you want? Is it a real, artificial want, or is it an authentic want? Is it something that you're going to trade your life for? That's what our want is. And so I want you to think about that. Do I know what I want to achieve? Because if you don't know your want, you're going to drift constantly. Your want has to become a massive obsession. And then you have to ask yourself, how badly do I want to achieve my goal?